Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to What is Karma? How do you break the karmic trap? Sadhguru on karma. I've read some of the comments about the last Sadhguru video, and I definitely want to dive in a deeper understanding of karma, and basically actually all three yogas, at least the basic ones, karma, bhakti, and jnana. Even though I did a reaction with Swami, I don't know, somehow it didn't stick in my brain. So I'm going to try to find as many karma videos from the different swamis and gurus that I watch, and hopefully get a better understanding of it, of like what it is. And now I've heard people say in the comments, it's not only your actions but your thoughts, your past karma, your how do I say, your genetic karma in a sense. That's not the right word, but it's basically how your body has memory as well, genetic memory, and that also has karma. So I don't know if that's everything or if there's more to it, but anyways, here goes our karma video, a long video list that's coming up. Let's go ahead and get started with this one first. Or second, since Swami was the first.
Now, the essence of all this is, first thing is to understand the nature of how existence is happening. Either you can look at this, or you can look at the atom, or you can look at the universe. If you want to look at the universe, it is complex, it is difficult because you don't have a gallery seat, you know. There is no… it is not like a stadium, you can sit somewhere and watch the whole universe. Very difficult. You can only see it in pieces. If you want to watch an atom, nobody has seen an atom. Do you know this? Do you know this? Even in a super electron microscope, you can't see an atom. We have observed its activity, but we have never seen an atom as such. But we have broken it. We are capable of breaking things that even we cannot see. That's our… we are very proud of this these days. We can break anything. We can make it or not is a questionable thing, but we can break anything we want. Even if we cannot see it, we can break it. Now, what you see and what you do not see itself is a very dicey thing in the sense, what is it that you can see? Right now, can you see my hand? Yes. You can see my hand only because my hand stops light.
Reflects.
If my hand did not stop this light, if it allowed light to pass through, you wouldn't see this hand, yes? Or in other words, right now your visual apparatus can see only those things which stop light. Anything that allows light through, you cannot see it. You cannot see light itself, first of all. Can you see the light that is here? No. Only whatever stops light, you can see it. What does not stop light, you cannot see it. Very bad, isn't it? You must be able to see all those things which allow light to pass through, because they are important things. But right now your visual apparatus are trained to see or capable of seeing only that which stops light. So the whole process of seeing life the way it is means, first of all, evolving an eye, a thoughtless eye, an eye which is free of thought. When I say free of thought, it is free from the taint of memory. Right now, these two eyes are heavily loaded with memory. So you can see this. If you see a group of people like this, if you just casually look like this, among these hundreds of people, if there is one face that you're familiar with, you will see suddenly that face sticks out. Have you noticed this? Have you noticed this? You're going in a street, there are 100 people standing there. Your friend is among that. If you look here, just this friend's face is more clear than the rest of the faces, because This eye works with memory. The more memory you have, the better it sees. No memory, it cannot see.
I will say sometimes people are still blind because something could be literally in front of them and they cannot see it. But that's just very uncommon, but you get the joke though. It's true, but it's still a joke and funny though, at least in my opinion. I've seen some people looking for something and it's literally right in front of them and they couldn't see it.
Memory means an accumulated past. Memory means information. Memory means that which does not exist but acts out as if it does. Memories are more real than reality, isn't it so? Yes or no? So I want you to understand, everything in your life is run by memory, not just your computer stick. Everything in your life. When I say memory, not just what you carry here, your very body is a body of memory. Why, if you eat a banana, it becomes a masculine body, and if she eats a banana, it becomes a feminine body, is simply because of the memory that it contains, isn't it? The information that is stored in this body and that body is different. Same banana, it becomes a man, same banana, it becomes a woman. Yes or no? Huh? Are you eating different types of bananas? Same thing, same food if you eat, it is becoming one way. In one person it is becoming dark skin, in another person it's becoming fair skin. How? The memory that you carry. Do you remember your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather? You don't. But his nose is sitting on your face. Your body remembers, isn't it? You may not have no idea who it was, but your body remembers even today. 1,000,000 years ago, how your forefathers were, still it remembers, isn't it? So what you call as my body is just a body of memory. And eyes are loaded with memory. An eye which is loaded with memory, an eye which is corrupted with memory, cannot see anything the way it is. It will only see things as it is convenient because the software is working from inside. It will not allow you to see anything the way it is.
That's something I definitely do agree with, and something that I've said too in the past, where we have to acknowledge that we do have biases. And I know I've said this many times before. Like a lot of people kept saying, it's like, no, you must watch this without thought or biases, and that's very difficult to do. A lot of people can't do that. So what I say, the middle ground, is the fact that you acknowledge your bias, and then you have the new information, and be able to distinguish the two. So you have your bias, you have the new information, so that you can say, okay, this is the new information, this is my bias, let me look at this without my bias. But the problem with modern times is the fact that bias, new information, it looks like a jumbled mess. And you can't tell your bias and your new information apart because it's all mixed in together. And what I try to do is understand that sometimes it's like this, sometimes it may be like that, where some of my bias gets into the new information, but I try my best to separate the two. Understand that I have bias and try to understand the new information without so much bias. And then once I understand it, then I mix them, and the end result is this one thing which has my bias and the new information. Because eventually everything in your mind kind of blends in together, it becomes you in a sense. And that information, how you take it, basically can change your mind or reinforce what you believe already. So that's what the mixing of the two becomes. But if you cannot recognize your bias, and then basically all you're doing is just smacking your biases on this new information and making sure that this new information gets covered all over your bias, like it matches my biases. It makes sense, even though it could be opposed to your bias. But just because you have so much biases that whatever information you get, you twist it in your own way. And that's what I'm trying to say every time I watch this. I understand I have my biases. and I try to keep them separate as much as possible as I learn and watch. And I hope people can do that. If they cannot just say, oh, here's the new information. My bias is somewhere over there, but here's the new information. I'm looking at it with clean, clear eyes. Now that's fantastic. For those who can't, recognize your bias as much as possible. Try to separate the two so that you can see the new information and recognize your biases. That's all.
This is what traditionally we are referring to as karma. It is there in your body, it is there in your energies, it is there in the way your chemical reactions happen, it is there in your brain, it is there in your mind, it is there in everything. In the very physical energy that you carry, there is memory, because you will see each person's energies behave differently from the other, simply because of the type of memory it carries. If you want to get rid of this, it's a long process. And if you get rid of this, dismantling of the personality and the body will happen. So another way is to create a distance from it. Just hold it little away. When you want to play with it, you play with it. When you want to switch it off, you must be able to switch it off.
And that's where I guess I don't have to switch it off so long as I can recognize it. And mind you, my biases could be like this with new information, and I just have to try really hard to recognize my bias and try to separate as much as possible until I can get my biases out of the new information. But sometimes I can't, and I have to work on that. And that's the reason why I like listening to different people and continuously challenge my ideas all the time and ask people's opinions about different things. Because again, like I've said before, sometimes certain gurus, swamis will say it a certain way that sounds like, oh, I get it now. Yes, that makes so much sense. Whereas you may have watched someone else and say, I don't quite get it. I need a little bit more information. And this is the reason why I watch so many different channels, and I love debates, because you hear people's opinions from both sides. Generally speaking, a debate has an opposing view and a supportive view, and you can hear both sides, and hopefully they're very good debaters. Then from those information that they give out, and you try to keep your biases out of their information, then you can actually shape your own biases based on that new information.
So for this, an external view is needed. Right now, your ears are loaded with memory, your eyes are loaded with memory, your tongue is loaded with memory. Why? If you are born in Karnataka, if you go to North India, food doesn't taste good, is because the tongue is loaded with memory. Yes or no? Have you suffered this or no? You went north and they said aloo bhaji, aloo aloo matar, aloo palak, aloo parota, aloo, they said. You couldn't stay there because your tongue is loaded with memory. It wants the same things back, otherwise it will suffer. So what being loaded with memory means is a cocoon of the past is holding you. It will not allow you to even move into the present. A cocoon of the past holds you, and you allow it to do this because it feels safe. It creates a cocoon. There is safety, but in safety there is also imprisonment. You're really safe if we lock you up in a safe, isn't it? But the problem is you can't get out. That's the whole problem. Walls that you build as self-protection, they also become the walls of self-imprisonment. That is the nature of life. If you lock yourself from inside or outside, it's the same thing. As long as you do not open the door, whether somebody locked you from outside or you locked yourself from inside, there is no difference. Anyway, you're imprisoned, isn't it? At least somebody locked you from outside, you can at least complain and scream. You locked yourself from inside, you can only be depressed. You cannot even scream. At whom will you scream? So this process of what we are looking at is the memory imprints itself on all levels, right up to the elemental level. from the five elements which function here, from just after that, memory's work starts. So when we utter the word karma, it is not one simple formula, or it's not, people are saying theory of karma. We are not talking about any theory. We are referring to a certain reality. Karma means memory. Action and memory. Past action exists only in the form of memory, isn't it so? Yes? Memory, not just what you carry here. Every cell in the body carries its own memory. Why one atom behaves differently from another atom? Though the same ingredients is, it has a memory. A hydrogen atom has one kind of memory, oxygen atom has another kind of memory. Unless you mix them up, they will continue to behave like that. It is in a small circle. You are in a little larger circle. The universe is in a much larger circle, but the same memory rules all of it. So when we said karma, we are not talking about some concept or philosophy. We are referring to a certain reality which is finding manifestation as who you are. The very shape of your body is because of memory. If a bird eats a mango, it becomes a bird. If a worm eats a mango, it becomes a worm. If you eat a mango, you become a human being. Same mango, how many things it's doing, depending upon what kind of memory it carries, isn't it? What you call as a seed, if you plant the same seed, if you plant a seed in the same soil, here you plant a mango tree, here you plant an apple tree in the same soil, this will only produce apples, this will only produce mangoes. I know there is a newspaper picture where a jackfruit is become bananas, that's different. Yes? You saw this? Are you all from Bangalore or Devanahalli? No, you didn't see this?
Okay, sorry. So basically, genetic memory, DNA, or is it RNA? I'm not exactly sure. Your DNA is the last thing I remember is RNA, but I can't remember what it's supposed to do. I've heard it a few times, but DNA, RNA, basically it's the instructions in your body. It tells your body what to do, what your cells do. I think there's certain kind of cells in your body that say it can do whatever is needed. It's basically a blank copy. All it needs is instructions, and it can actually do that. So it can, I think some of it can become like your, I don't know what's precisely, but basically it's like a jack of all trades kind of cell, where it can become your skin cells, I think, or your hair cells or something. I forget what kind of cell it's called, but it can basically do a lot of things. It just needs an instruction, and it becomes that. It can do that. And I think they're talking about stem cells with that too. I don't know if that's the cell, I can't remember. But these are the memories he's talking about. That is very, and I think earlier he was talking about how the eye memory, the tongue memory. I don't know if he means in terms of your brain memory, as in when you look, like it does seem like it, where when you're looking into a crowd, you can see, oh, that's my friend right there, because of your brain memory, and you recognize the face. And it's like, oh, I see him, he's right there, or whoever. Who's that stranger? But so he hasn't said thought yet, and I've heard some people say your karma is your actions as well, not only physical actions, but your thinking actions, which is kind of weird, because I was hoping that the BMI chart or the Bhakti, Jnana, and Karma represents the three physical things that are very easy to understand. Karma being actions, physical actions, maybe even, okay, your cellular actions as well. Bhakti being devotion or emotions, and then Jnana being thought or intellect. But intellect, as far as I'm understanding from the comments, because it's your thoughts, it's also part of karma. So then what does Jnana mean? The obtaining of knowledge? Is that all it is? So let's continue.
A bunch of bananas are coming out of a jackfruit for some reason. And that's a freak. And that's happened because of some mix-up. We don't know who did the mix-up. But essentially, if you… in the same soil, if you plant an apple seed and a mango seed, this will only produce apples, this will only produce mangoes, because seed is a certain amount of memory, isn't it? Whether it is a seed of a plant or your father's seed which enters your mother's womb, it is just memory and memory and memory, isn't it so? This is karma, and this goes right back, right up to the elemental level. Everything is memory. Only the pure element is free from memory. So the idea, when we're starting off Bhutesha, because that's the most important thing, that he mastered the elements, that's why we bow down to him, because he mastered the elements, he has an eye which has no memory, a taintless eye which sees everything just the way it is. So yoga essentially means developing an eye which is not contaminated by memory, which simply sees. It does not see things the way your memory perverts it. It simply sees everything the way it is. This eye will see those things which do not stop light. Right now, these two eyes can only see what stops light. If you start seeing something that does not stop light, that means another dimension of the eye is beginning to function.
Definitely gonna have to watch a lot more explanation on karma. But I'm gonna cheat and add one more Sadhguru video. And we're gonna learn a lot. Well, I'm gonna learn a lot, and you guys can learn a lot too with me, if you don't know, just in case. But I'm gonna look for karma yoga from all the different gurus and swamis. I want to try to get a good understanding of karma, and then I'll switch over to probably bhakti or jnana. I'm not gonna go to the Raja Yoga yet, because that is the last step that I've noticed from Chinmayananda and who's the other one? Swami Tadatmananda, as well as maybe Swami Sarvapriyananda. I don't remember if he… I know he touched up on all four, but I think he considers Raja Yoga the last one as well. And Chinmayananda as well said the three things: BMI, body, mind, and intellect, which is karma, bhakti, and jnana, and then the one above those three is probably Raja Yoga. Then the one above that is Turiya, which is your true self. So basically, you have to quiet the three basic things. I call it basic, I suppose. Then to meditate on it, Raja, to be able to see your true self, the true you, the Turiya. Anyways, that's my reaction to what is karma. How do you break the karmic trap? If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.